it's me again, and we're back in the kitchen with Pen. This afternoon I thought I'd show you quickly how I make scones. I'm not saying it's the right way, I'm just showing you how I make them. So in this bowl here I have 350 grams of self-raising flour, 2 teaspoons of baking powder, and mixed spice to taste. And I've just used this little whisk, which is a genius whisk, just to mix it all together so that I know I'm not going to have lumps of one thing or the other. To this mix I will be adding 75 grams of butter, 30 grams of sugar, and approximately 100 grams of dried fruit. I also have extra flour for when I'm rolling out, and 125 ml of milk and 2 beaten eggs. This will be used not only to bind the mixture together, but to glaze the top of the scones before I start baking. Right, I've got the oven set to 220°C. That's fully preheated already. So let's crack on. Right, let's come down and let you see. Okay, right, so I am just going to pop the butter into the flour, the baking powder and the mixed herbs, and I'm just rubbing it together through my fingers, just as you would if you were making pastry. Scones again are quite good if you have cold hands, and if not, then use the tip of running your wrists under the cold water tap just to chill those hands down a little. So we're just going to rub until these resemble breadcrumbs. Doesn't seem a lot of fat for all this flour, but trust me when I tell you it is actually enough. So rub through your fingers and let fall down. Okay, right, there's no more huge lumps of butter. So, oh, there is, I fibbed, I just found one. There we go. Right, into this mix now we're going to add the 30 grams of sugar and 100 grams of fruit. Use whatever fruit you've got in. I've used, what have I used actually? Sultanas, because that's actually what I had open. You can use currants, you can use sultanas, you can use raisins, you can use cherries. Don't like dried fruit, add some chocolate chips. Actually, Steve would probably quite like that, so maybe I should have done that. Anyway, so that's all mixed through. Okay, I'm using a wooden spoon because obviously I'm going to be adding the wet mix. So that's there, and just gradually make a well and just add the milk and egg mix and bring it together. Now sometimes you need more liquid, sometimes you need less. It depends on so many things. The humidity, the altitude that you're at, believe it or not, makes a difference. So these are a guide, and you know, use what you've got. If you need to add a bit more milk, don't worry, just add a little drop more milk, it's fine. Right, that's coming together quite nicely. So what I'm going to do now is get my hands in there. I bet you love me for all these recipes where I tell you to get your hands in there. Right, and just bring it together as much as you can. There we go. Right, we're trying to leave the bowl fairly clean, no loose bits of dough or breadcrumb type mixture. Right, get that off my hands. If you weren't watching, I would seriously be eating this mixture off my fingers, but let's be good. Right, I'm just going to rinse my hands off. I promise you it's rinsing, I'm not eating. Right, dry them. And now I need a little flour on the surface so that I can finish bringing this together and roll. Oh, incidentally, I want to tell you about these. These pots are amazing. These are OXO ones, but you can get non-branded ones and they're really good. But all you do, push down, and now that is sealed. Okay, I'm lifting that by the lid and it's not coming off. So really good for dried goods in any kitchen. Right, there we are. Now, what a lot of people do with scones is they overhandle them or they roll them out too thin. Now, you want your scones to be quite, need some more flour on top. You want your scones to be quite thick. You don't want, you know, thin ones. So about an inch or so is the absolute limit on how thin you want to cut to roll out your scones. But what you also want to do is use a straight sided cutter. This has got both. I've got fluted and I've got straight. And what you do is you push straight down. Don't be tempted to twist, because you twist and they just don't work so well. They often rise unevenly or they don't rise. I don't know quite what it is with doing a twist, but I just never have, and the rise on my scones is usually quite good. Then you just put them onto a greased baking tray. I've got a seal pat mat here so I can put them straight on there. Obviously, if you made smaller scones, you'd get more. I'm hoping to get probably about 8 out of this mix. So all I'm going to do is bring it together. Remember I said don't work it too much. Sorry, that noise, that beeping is because I've got the tray on top of the oven and it's telling me. Right, so we've got 6, might get 8, might. Yeah, well, 7. Oh. And bring it in again one final time and smush it together quite well. And down we go. Okay, so that's 8 scones. But what I want to do now is I want to just brush some of this egg and milk mix on top of them to give them a nice glaze. And what you don't want to do is you don't want to put so much on that it's running down the sides, because again that will inhibit the rise of your scones, and we don't want anything to do that. So once I've brushed these all on, I always buy large eggs. I don't specify large eggs in my recipes because, to be honest with you, one supermarket's large eggs can be another supermarket's medium. So unless you're getting them direct from a farm or an egg supplier, they're all various sizes, small, medium or large. Okay, now these are all brushed and they're going to go into the oven for about 15 minutes until golden and risen, and that's on the top shelf. And they're in, and we shall come back once they are cooked and ready to come out. Okay, I set the timer for 12 minutes and it's going to go off any second. So once it does, we'll shut that up and we'll get these scones out, and you can see, computer, stop, and we'll see just what they look like. Oops, one split a bit, but you know, hey ho. There we go. Can you see the one that's split? What I'm going to do now is I'm going to take them, put the baking tray down because it's pretty hot even through the gloves, and then I'm going to put them onto a cooling rack. So they're coming off a piece of cake. These Silpat mats are excellent. I have a Barry Lewis one. I follow him on YouTube. He's great. He makes me laugh. He tries things and most of the time they work fairly well. Sometimes they go disastrously wrong, which makes it even funnier. But yeah, he's a guy from the West Country, so take a look at Barry Lewis on YouTube. He used to be My Virgin Kitchen, just in case you're thinking, oh, the name's familiar. Right, so here we have, can you see them? Yes you can. Fruit scones, fresh out of the oven. Now total time to make these was about 10 minutes to bring them together. That was longer because I was talking to you. And then 10 to 12 minutes in the oven. So realistically you can have a batch of these made up in about 30 minutes. So all that remains for me to do is get my hand out of the way and say thank you for being in the kitchen with Pen, and I shall see you all again very soon. Bye.